Have you ever had a friend that you have such a connection with, not only on a physical level, but on a spiritual level and on a compatibility level? Well, I have such that friend. Hi, everybody. I'm Tammy Becker, and I'm the founder of YOU Ministries. And I'm so excited to bring my friend in, Lori Ruzick, who is not only my scoliosis sister, she's my spiritual sister. She's such a good friend, and our relationship was brought together by God. And she's going to go over that story with you today. So, welcome, Lori. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you. And yes, we definitely have that special connection, and it's not something that God blesses everybody every day with. But anyhow, about 7 years ago, I was sought out that a mutual friend, Lily, said that there's a gal that wants to know about somebody who's had major surgery. And I did have the major surgery just like Tammy did. I was 52 years old, and I had severe scoliosis as well. Anyways, and Dr. McNulty, we have the same surgeon, and he worked me over and changed my life, made it all for the better by the grace of God. He's gifted that way. And anyway, so I get this text message from this gal wanting to know how it was and all the ins and outs of the surgery, the plus and minuses. And so we started chatting by text, and it went on for a good week, and it was daily. And then it turned into a phone call, and we were talking for really long periods of time. And she was married, and her husband wanted to talk to my husband because this is a big deal even for spouses. So anyway, so we're chatting away, and another week goes by, and it's just like, hey, by chance, where do you live? Let's meet up. Well, come to find out, she lived on the next street. We literally could walk to each other's house. So that was just like amazing. And so I went over to her house, and her mom and dad were there, and it was really super cute. And you could tell they were really interested about my story and my journey with my back surgery. And then I met her husband, and he's like, hey, it was just really groovy Tuesday right from the get-go, just very comfortable. And her dad was all about the Lord has blessed us with this union, and that I was going to be able to help answer Tammy's questions. And we just, like we've known each other forever. It's just really odd. But so then we planned a double date with husbands and went over to Tammy and John's, and we just have bonded in an amazing way. Not many couples get to meet other couples and just really totally just gel. And we've been on several vacations over the years. But anyhow, my point was Tammy, she wanted to try to tough it out because she was in good shape physically, and she was in pain. And my point when I had my surgery, it was like, listen, doc, you either got to shoot me or fix it, because there was no in between, and I'm not a pain pill taker. So anyways, and that's what happened. And I was back to work in a month. I work real estate, and I wore a brace for 3 months, and I've been doing good. I mean, other than getting heavy in my older years and all that, but it's not my back that's suffering, it's other stuff. But at any rate, so I tried to be loving and encouraging and respectful of Tammy and her wish to kind of endure. And because I get it, because mentally it's a big commitment, and it's not a walk in the park. And that's exactly what McNulty had said. It's not going to be a walk in the park. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, it's going to be horrible. But then it's going to lighten up, and then 2 weeks later, it'll lighten up. And he was very true about that. However, so Tammy got to that point of no return, and which with the aging process, that happens. Scoliosis does not get cured with time and babying and all that. It just progresses. So she got to that point, and she says, I'm going to do it. And she also had planned the year before, I think it was, that you were going to have surgery with a different surgeon in Colorado. And who could ever be thankful for shingles? But she got shingles and that surgery was canceled. And we were grateful because they were going to do the whole thing all in one surgery, which I was afraid. One surgery one day, because my surgery was several hours the first day and long hours the second, just like Tammy's. However, I woke up. Unlike her, that was not the plan. The first day she had surgery, I was jealous because she's laying in bed. She had several hours of surgery, and her husband and my husband and I, and we're all standing there, and she's laying back in bed with her hand behind her head, and I feel great. She doesn't remember all this, but I was just like, wow, she did really super good. So we were really optimistic, and I mean, we always stayed optimistic, but we were terrified there for a while. But then she went in for the second surgery, and it was like I stayed close by the phone because I was back in Bullhead, and I told John, just let me know. And he was, keeping me abreast. She's still in, she's still in, she's still in, she's still in, she's still in surgery. And it's like, holy cow. And I happen to have Dr. McNulty's private cell phone number. So it had been numerous hours. I can't even remember. But I remember praying with John and for John, and, just being nervous, but also understanding it was the big deal. And I knew that was the big production. But what became concerning was when she wasn't waking up. It's like, okay, well, that's not part of the plan. So what's going on? And they just said, well, there was a lot going on. Her body was super stressed. It endured a lot of changes. I mean, McNulty said her rib actually was touching her hip. That's how crooked she was. And so to correct that stuff is it's a big deal. So anyways, I forget what day it was, but it seemed like it was a couple days later. John broke down to me on the phone, and I go, I'm going to be there. I just hung up. I told Don, I'm on my way to Vegas. I got to go. So I went and just held his hand and took him and showed him a cool taco joint down the street. We went and fed our emotions from the stress, but just loving on Tammy while she was all plugged up with all that stuff, and trying to plead with her to please wake up, and plead with God to wake her up. And when she reflects on the hallucinations of the hard drugs, I vaguely remember myself, but I know because I had surgery in 1977 where I was on a lot of the meds too. And, heavy drugs really are hard. And that's what we called Dr. McNulty. He was on the golf course, and I was mad. And I said, what is going on? And why is she not waking up? And he says, well, they're trying to back off the medication. But when she starts to come out of the coma, her heart rate gets dangerously high. And it's like, we don't want her to have a stroke. So then they would drug you back down and put you back to sleep. And you were on propofol and some other stuff. And I had a nurse friend saying, she's never going to wake up with that much stuff. But understanding that he goes, we need to figure out the right cocktail to bring her out safely. And, but it was days later, but it was terrifying. It was really terrifying. And you were definitely in God's hands for sure. And yes, the girls came. Your sister and I, we were both, everybody was just like, we had churches, we had Bible study groups, we had everybody under the sun praying, and it works, definitely works. So, and you're alive today to tell, but.
Yeah, I am. And I'm really thankful for not only that you were praying for me, but you also had the doctor's ear, and that you also had my husband, because he didn't his mom was sick at the time, or she would have flown down. And then his brother was planning on coming down, and John says, no, don't come down. But John didn't know I was going to end up in the coma. So John didn't have any of his immediate family around him. So, you know, again, you were his kind of his backboard, just to, and, you know, him knowing you, that you're a spiritual person and that you pray. I mean, he tells me so many times, I'm so thankful for Don and Lori. I'm so thankful for Don and Lori. And it's not just even about this surgery, it's about the time that he's spoken with you guys, that you've been able to share your experiences through recovering even. Because, I mean, he talks to Don. Don tells him about your recovery. John talks to Don about my recovery. You and I talk about our recoveries together. If I have going through something and I have a question, I call you and say, did you ever have this? Like, I'm still having the itching in my back, and I know you didn't, but to this day, 2 years later, my back still itches like crazy, like it's inside itching, which is, but you and I have had a lot
my
of
back, and I feel it in my leg.
Yeah. But I remember you being so truthful with me too. I mean, about getting ready for the surgery and all the things that you told me. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And then all of those things definitely were things I had to do. So, but the miracle about it all is that we did make it through. Just recently, I made it through another revision surgery. And all of these things that have happened in between, and here we are, we're still just as close as ever, even though we live apart now. We still are amazing friends, amazing couples, and I'm so thankful, aren't you? I'm just so blessed.
I'm totally thankful.
Whole thing.
Even without scoliosis, we love you and John so much. And I mean, like I said, we go on vacations, we've been to your house, you've been to our house, and just, I don't know. It's a blessing. It's a huge blessing for sure.
Yep. You've taken care of me. You took care of me my last surgery in August and helped me recoup and took me to the doctor and got me on the plane. And very good friends, always there for us. And I so appreciate you so much, and just coming on and talking to everybody, giving your side of how special God is in our friendship and how he answers prayers. And I mean, weren't you breaking down at one point with Dawn? Dawn said something about you really broke down and took it hard. Like you thought it was your fault, and it really wasn't.
Well, it's like, that's what I was telling Dawn. I go, oh my gosh, I've encouraged her so much to have this surgery. And I was so strong-willed about it, you know, determined that, you know, you're going to be like me. You're going to get through this, and you're going to have a better quality of life. And then I was crying at Dr. McNulty and going, this was not part of the plan.
Yep. But I want you to know right here and right in front of you that it wouldn't have been your fault, and it wasn't your fault because I had the ultimate choice. And by that time, when I made that choice, we all, especially you know I wouldn't have made that choice just by you telling me to. I made that choice to go in on my own, and people ask me today, like, would you have done it sooner? And my answer is still no, because I had a whole life that I lived before I started getting the pain, and everybody's different. So you have to go, if you're experiencing scoliosis, to the audience, then you have to go by what you're feeling and how your back is. And if you're in pain, then yes, you might want to consider doing it sooner than I did. But by the grace of God, I hit my exercise hard from the age of 13 all the way up until I had surgery, because I didn't want the surgery. But like Lori said earlier, is that age gets in and takes over for us. And then we start getting things like degenerative spine, bulging discs, nerve pain, crushed nerves, all that kind of stuff. So it is an individual choice. But I am happy, I'm very happy that I had the surgery done, because I am out of that immense pain that I was in. I'm having to learn to live a completely different life right now than I had before. There's just, throwing yourself into exercise your whole life. Well, we don't bend, do we, Lori?
No.
We don't.
No.
We don't dance. We kind of do a bop. There's no twist. Yeah, it's all new, but it's okay. It's okay because God told me my work wasn't done and he sent me back. And so here I am today sharing the word of God on my YouTube channel. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited with every little thing that God gives me to do. And I feel blessed that he sent me back to embrace my journey with him and share it with others. So you have any final words, Lori, that you want to throw in there?
Well, I just want to give a shout out because definitely Lily was a thread in this whole circle. We've all had surgery with Dr. McNulty at this point, and she definitely was a thread that got us together. And she's also a believer of Jesus. And I'm just thankful. I'm really grateful, and I'm glad that you came through it. And so we can make many more memories with our metal hardware in our back, and we can't bend over, so the boys have to pick up our trail of goodies as we drop stuff. But whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just thankful, and I'm really proud of you. Very proud of you, Tammy. You've really taken, whatever they call it, and you've made it a really beautiful blossom, and with God, and giving God all the glory, because he definitely deserves it all. So
that's right.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for being on this episode, and stop back here next Wednesday, folks, and we drop an episode every Wednesday. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit my bell, and visit us on the website at www.youministries.com. See you next time. Bye. And then, you're frozen. Hit your keyboard real quick. He'll cut that out. There you go. He'll cut that part out. So